Hello, everyone. There's a little bit more material that I want to cover. I'm going to cover it from a great book from Halliday and Resnick, formerly the 10th edition. Gerald Walker is associated with the work that is presented in that great book. It's a 2-volume book, covers all the major elements of basic physics, or at least close to it, very much of those major elements. Volume 1 is predominantly Newtonian mechanics, Newton's laws of motion, Newtonian mechanics, things of that nature. And Volume 2 has modern physics in it, which looks pretty fascinating, of how they're bringing that forward, the opportunity that they're providing for people to look at some aspects of modern physics. And there's also electricity and magnetism. For us, that Volume 2, the electricity and magnetism, is what we care about. And we are going to emphasize from the Halliday and Resnick book, chapters 22 through 32. It's all up here. I ran out of room when I did it, but I'll explain in a second what's going on here. Basically, as we said, the Halliday and Resnick book, previously sold as the 10th edition, 2018. Gerald Walker is associated with that book. There is a great instructor's solutions manual that I used extensively to very quickly get through many of the problems that are there presented. So it's an excellent instructor's solutions manual that I was able to use, and it's an excellent book as well. There are many excellent books out there. This is one of them. So I wanted to go through some of the problems that are associated, or at least some of the problems that are presented in this very fine book. Chapters 22 through chapters 22 through chapter 32, those 11 chapters summarizing a lot of basic electricity and magnetism. All these problems that are listed up here are going to be presented to you in one form or another. If you are in the class that I am teaching at the university, you'll see them presented in their entirety in the learning management system in PDF format. Everybody, regardless of where we are learning, where we are when we're trying to learn this stuff, everybody is going to see the solutions of all of these problems up here in their entirety, written out with the help of the great solutions manual that is associated with the Halliday and Resnick book that I was fortunate enough to look at. So, and try to give my own presentation of it as well. You guys try to put some sort of a touch to it that would give you an intuitive feel for what's going on here. I will more or less, from each one of the 11 chapters in the Halliday and Resnick book that we've selected here, I will try to do one problem that I think is a real good problem and represents a good amount of content and is really interesting and perhaps somewhat challenging as well. I'll try to do one problem I'll try to do one problem from each one of the 11 chapters, chapters 22 through 32. So one problem out of each of those, but that one problem presented on film is also going to scroll at the end of the video the way it's been solved and presented to students at the university here where I teach and anywhere where I would want to present it. It's still presented in a PDF format so you can see it at the end of the video, and all the other problems that aren't being solved more or less live by me, all those other problems, all of these problems are going to appear in a more or less PDF looking format. There's like I guess it's called JPEG. It'll scroll at the end and it'll look like a PDF scrolling. So all of these problems will be presented to you at the very end of every single film that is done. I plan to do 11 films pertaining to this, each one corresponding to chapters 22 through 32. Those 11 chapters, each one's associated with a film. There's also this film, so it's 12 films total. Okay, but after this film, we will do 11 additional films, each one pertaining to a chapter, each one pertaining to each of these chapters. So a chapter of film, chapters 22 through 32. One hopefully good, worthwhile problem will be presented in some pretty strong detail from each one of those 11 chapters. Chapters 22 through 32. One problem from each one of those. And then all the rest of this is going to scroll, and all of those problems that are presented on film more or less live, and in addition to all that, all the other problems. In other words, all these problems will appear scrolling at the end of each chapter. Film pertaining to chapter 31 will have all the solutions to all these problems scrolling at the end of it. Film pertaining to chapter 23 will have all these problems scrolling at the end. So we'll do it that way to look at it. That's about it. I mean, right now at the end of this chapter, it's going to be a lot easier to look at. Just quickly tell you, I mean, this item right here, 4 pages, will scroll at the end of this particular video. Here, like I said, I ran out of room a little bit, guys. But essentially, it's just saying from chapters, here's how it goes. Chapter 22 is on electric fields. Chapter 23, Gauss's Law. Chapter 24, electric potential. Chapter 25, capacitance. Chapter 26, current and resistance. Chapter 27, circuits. Chapter 28, magnetic fields. Chapter 29, magnetic fields due to currents. Chapter 30, induction and inductance. Chapter 31, electromagnetic oscillations and alternating current. Chapter 32, Maxwell's equations and magnetism of matter. So it's all there. I wrote it out on a lot of these. I was able to write the title of the chapter, and then I did run out of room in some of them, so I did not write the title of the chapter. But that'll scroll at the end. It kind of gives you a ballpark of what's going on. Every single one of the problems that are there in those 11 chapters will be found in their entirety. If you look at all 11 videos, they will in totality have scrolled at the end of all the chapters. You'll have gotten, if you've looked at all the films, you will see that at the end of every one of those is all the problems for the particular chapter that was being analyzed. So at the end of all the videos, you'll have seen the scrolling of the solutions for every single one of the problems that's up here, and every single one of the problems that is scrolling at the end of this particular video. And like I said, we'll try to pick some a decent, at least one good decent problem from every chapter, from each chapter. Pick one good problem from each one of those chapters and try to talk to you more on that. So I think it's okay. It's a little bit of extra. It's optional material, but it's something I want to talk to you about. Okay. Best of luck to everyone. Take care.